Well, hello everybody, welcome back to 2CTV and another live update. And of course, it's about the chaos of mass migration and multiculturalism. They've told us we need to be grateful. We have to appreciate new cultures and diversity coming to our Western countries, and everybody else should embrace the new values, the new cultures, and you're not allowed to encourage the newcomers, the migrants, to become British. Or in this case, in Iceland, who are causing, we're witnessing a lot of chaotic situations, including what happened this week in Parliament. Let's get on with the show. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get your reaction in the live chat as usual in a few minutes. But let's talk about what happened this week, because the parliamentary meeting in Iceland had to be postponed after what they call a protest. Protest. Free country, free society, democracy, free speech. Fair enough. Protest, I'm guessing they organized it, they got permission, and peaceful. No, they decided to storm the parliamentary building, migrants, and they are obviously, the news in Iceland are saying illegal migrants, or as the political left will call them, asylum seekers. Fair enough. Asylum seekers in Iceland decided to storm the parliamentary building, and they had some demands. Yeah, not requests, not politely asking MPs, local representatives to do something. Demands. And we have to, all of us in the Western world, we have to obey. This is about some amendments to the immigration bill that obviously the Ministry of Justice are proposing, and everything else is being debated in Iceland to make sure that Iceland remains Icelandic. I mean, it's not really rocket science. But we have some videos for you guys, because some of the migrants decided to storm the building and get into the chamber from the gallery side of the parliament. And it went a little bit crazy. Let's watch the first video and get some reaction.
You don't have heart. Wait, I out. You don't have heart. You decide to do anything you want to do. You keep people here 4 years after you abandon the bring them homeless for here. For what? I'm just like I'm working myself here. Here. I'm working myself here.
One of the politicians whistling. Actually, I mean, this is just the perfect metaphor of what's actually going on in the Western world. The political class, even when they get targeted, even when they are, they're receiving some uncomfortable situations, they are still clueless. They are at best ignorant. They go back to their daily business like nothing has changed. Do you really think a normal country with normal governments and normal politicians as representative of the people would continue to just keep their heads buried in the sand? Do you really think if you had done that, for example, not really this situation, but a similar situation, treason, against the Roman Empire in Rome, politicians would just say, okay, fair enough, we heard you. Let's sit around, whistle and continue their work? No, you will be in a lot of trouble. Any normal country, any normal government, when politicians see a pattern of behavior, in fact, instead of sitting there, just be like, okay, they remove the migrants, let's go back and sit and continue our work. Instead of doing that, they will form an emergency meeting, an emergency legislation to see what's going on in their countries, including Iceland. Who would have thought that Iceland is going to be next on the target list for migrants to be demanding? Now, in case you don't know exactly what's been going on, so they have said, by the way, that the man was arrested, the one who was trying to, I don't know what he was doing, hanging from the balcony, and is still in police custody, right? He was interrogated this morning, and the police do not expect that he will be detained. The offense, they say, is not of that nature. According to the information from the police, he received appropriate assistance. What is happening? Hang on. So you can basically promote lawlessness in society, and then you can basically make it about political correctness. So you get away with it, and you will also receive appropriate assistance. So the police will get you a taxi to go home afterwards? This is not the only issue. Why do you think they did this? According to themselves, the actual migrants, they demanded, again, not requested, demanded that the government in Iceland do not make immigration harder. Okay. Second demand, they demanded more free access to resources and property and everything else, housing. Third demand, by the way, was that the government in Iceland would allow their relatives and family members, every single one of those migrants, to just randomly and freely join them in Iceland without their backgrounds being vetted. You see the problem? At the same time, not only politicians in the chamber afterwards were just like, okay, cool, let's just continue as we were. Second problem is the police. Not only they came out, as we said, they said, well, they're not going to detain him. The offense is not that of that nature, whatever that means. And then they said, yeah, the migrants, the one who was arrested, has now received appropriate assistance from the police. Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Policeman. This is not really how you treat, how you actually supposed to be promoting law and order in any society. Now, the Parliament in Iceland said the security issues of Parliament are constantly being reassessed from day to day. I really don't think they are, and have been for some time. So that the people who are responsible for security issues within Parliament are in regular and good contact with the police about what measures need to be taken every day, and it is tried to evaluate it depending on the situation. This incident yesterday, of course, gives a reason to examine certain aspects in that regard. Okay, I'm just going to make a guess here. I have a feeling the parliamentary authorities in Iceland do not reassess the security issues day to day. I really don't think they are doing this, because they would have stopped it. Now that it's actually happened, and it's not really they haven't really managed to infiltrate using security measures. They just literally went to the gallery and decided to hang himself from the balcony. I don't know what that plan was. How hard is it to have basic security measures? And now you can have a meeting with the security about discussing more meetings about security? I mean, what is going on? Sort out your country. Then let's not forget, Iceland is a small place. And especially when it comes to immigration, they have about only 370,000 immigrants right now. First things first, 370,000 in a country like Iceland, that's huge. Apologies. It is huge when it comes to population, and it's growing rapidly. Partly because obviously they're demanding the relatives and family members to join them, and they could have more babies. And partly because other countries are being slightly more, let's just say, repelling. France is making things uncomfortable for immigrants, so they are leaving France. Most of them are coming to England anyway. But people are now trying to find other places. So the rest of the Nordic countries, they're all in a complete mess as well. From Norway and Sweden to Denmark, and obviously now Iceland. And this is going to become an issue. Demanding. There's a problem. Let's talk about the problem. I posted this on X the other day. I'm going to get used to saying X, not Twitter. A lot of migrants in Britain, not all, are extremely self-entitled. They demand to be welcomed. They demand to get special treatment. They demand jobs. They demand housing. And I forgot to add, they demand benefits. You feel entitled? You're entitled to S. Be more grateful. Now, for those who watch TCTV, you've heard me say this many times about my background, my story, and when my mother was saved by the British Embassy in Iran, when she was actually welcomed here, she was grateful. She always taught me the right values. Not only, she said, we have to be grateful, we have to give something back, we have to make sure this is our home, because they gave us a fresh start. They gave her a fresh start in life. Not only that, she also told me as a kid, wherever your home is, you treat it as a home. Even the streets in your neighborhood, you appreciate it. Wherever you are, if that's your home, you treat it in a good way. The problem we now have in the Western world is that we have a lot of people Some people are actually born in the country as well, not just migrants, without the right values. So, you've seen what's going on in East London, for example. You've seen in certain areas of Birmingham, Luton, Glasgow, certain urban areas. You go to the roads, you go to the streets. It's not necessarily, oh, wow, they all look non-white. That's not the problem. The problem is the fact that they don't even care about their own area. Rubbish is everywhere. Everything is ugly. Everything's terrible. Smells. No appreciation for their own local area. If you don't care about your own local neighborhood, you're not going to care about the country. You're not going to care about your own home. But it shows the type of people, the mentality or the class or lack of class of people. There are a lot of people who are not classy enough to be in the Western world, but we are welcoming them. They're not appreciating anything. And by the way, certain people, it doesn't matter where they are, they will still treat their neighborhoods the same way. Whether they are in an Oxford Street in London, or in Pakistan, or in Toronto, the same will happen. So if you don't appreciate your home, wherever it is, you're not going to be able to actually commit. Immigrants need to be more grateful. That's the first thing they have to do. They have to appreciate what they actually have now. Second thing they have to do, give something back. Obviously, integrate. Be like the rest of the people. Do not expect others to change for you. And thirdly, don't expect more migrants to just follow you and go there, because the whole point is you have to be the minority. The majority of each country need to be the natives and people who are born and who are in this country British or Danish in Denmark or whatever they are. You import the third world, you become the third world. Let's go to the video. This is from a different angle when the migrants stormed the Parliamentary building in Iceland.
You don't have any justice. You don't have a heart. I put myself there. You don't have a heart. Go ahead. Okay, you don't have heart. Wait. I out. You don't have heart. You decide to do anything you want to do. You keep people here 4 years after you abandon the thing. They're homeless for here. For what? I've come back. I want to myself.
So embarrassing. The fact that it's happening now in Iceland, of all places, we are seeing a pattern. We are definitely seeing a pattern. By the way, the guy who was spamming in the live chat in the first live stream started doing it in the second live stream, just this one. The guy who talks about morality, but he's, I don't know what he's talking about. I banned him because he was spamming. Then he created a second fake account. He then started, but he's posting the same comments, so I can see he's copy and pasting the same thing. So I banned him again. Don't worry. If he comes back, I will ban him again. Spam, you get banned. George says, yeah, we had transport hotels and everything waiting for them over here. Arrangements must not have suited them, so they're off to Iceland. Yeah, I mean, as I said, countries like France are making things uncomfortable for them, so they basically kind of find new homes. Again, storming buildings. Are we all seeing the pattern here? I know. The pattern is not necessarily just about force or violence. It's the culture of being demanding, being self-entitled. And that culture has actually been spread around the world. Even the Western European kids, white Western European kids being born here, the new generation, they're also self-entitled. They're also demanding. Is this just a problem right now across the world? Everybody is just demanding, I need free food, I need free this, free clothing, free housing, free this, free... Stop demanding. You're entitled to, again, S. Trying to keep it cool. Gordon says, the problem we have is that politicians are scared to death of the race card. They are all cowards. This would never have happened under Margaret Thatcher. I actually agree. What Gordon says is also, same applies to the other politicians. Most politicians, what we call them, the new liberal globalist politicians, centrists as they call themselves. Establishment politicians are primarily not necessarily scared in terms of, the extremists attacking them. They're actually scared of one main group. You do realize the huge chunk of votes for these politicians and parties are the middle class, relatively educated, Western liberal families and individuals, the ones who vote for Tony Blair and Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer. And if you play the race card, or if you're perceived as you're playing the race card, by talking about, I don't know, we need to do mass deportations, they're not just scared of the extremists. They are absolutely terrified, because those liberal pseudo-intellectuals, the middle classes, they will be offended on behalf of the migrants, and they're not going to vote for you. They are terrified of losing the middle class vote. And that is the biggest problem that we have. Because people these days get offended on behalf of other people, even if that other person is not really offended. Karen says, as a British citizen and a British taxpayer and a British voter, I demand that no illegal immigrants are allowed to come into the UK. I demand that British people are put first before the migrants. Yeah, it's not going to happen, Karen. I've tried that method. One day we will be able to actually protect the country, but not with these lot in the Houses of Parliament. Hans Archive also says what I said differently. Import Pakistan, become Pakistan. Yeah, as I always say, well, import the third world, become the third world. Don't be surprised what's happening. It's also, as I say, it's also affecting everybody else now. When you don't have the right attitude in your society, when society there's no harmony, there's no unity, there's no basic social conservative values where you can actually believe in your community, your area, family values, your flag. When all that goes away in the name of liberalism and individualism, and again, I'm saying this as a classical liberal myself, not modern liberal, then other cultures and other behaviors will be able to affect you and change your behavior. So all our kids now, the new generation, when they go to school, in the name of diversity and multiculturalism, they are being affected by different types of behavior. This is the problem. Inclusivity is not really a strength anymore. First super chat of the live stream, Renfield, thank you very much. 370,000 is a whole population in Iceland, not number. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, I misread the number of the actual people. Let's go back to you guys. There is one of the biggest issues that we're currently facing is the fact that, again, we showed you the video, and we'll go back to it later, is that we don't actually know why politicians, it's not necessarily just that they're scared, why they still don't feel the urgency from our side, the patriots or nationalists or conservative side in every country yet. Wait for the upcoming elections. When it comes to Le Pen, when it comes to Trump, we've already seen with Javier Milei, things are slowly changing, but we have not won the whole thing yet. The Motster says they send their worst criminals and they the repeat offenders that never learn. I agree. And Tanya says, we all have a right to defend ourselves, own our own land, our own property and arms. Well, we should. But in this country, in Britain, it doesn't really work that way completely. So we still believe, we still have a capitalist system where you have a right to have your own property for now, until the globalists take over and you won't really own anything. But it's fine, you'll be happy. The other issue is that even right now, under the current enforcement of law, I've told you this story before. A few years ago, there was an old gentleman in Britain, in England, whose house was burgled. And this guy came to the house with a baseball bat or whatever, and or a knife, I think, trying to steal things. And the old gentleman fought back, and he hit him with a baseball bat or something like that, or cricket bat or whatever it was. The burglar died. Guess who got into trouble? The man who was defending his own home in self-defense got into trouble. They had to go through case and case and appeal and appeal. It was embarrassing. So it seems like you're not even allowed to defend yourself. There was another story about myself, my own experience. This is just the idiocy of the police, by the way. Lack of common sense when it comes to the British police. Metropolitan police, especially in London. One day I lost my, if you're familiar, Apple AirPods. And if it's an Apple product, you can track it. On your phone, you can see where the thing is. Someone stole it from me in a bar in London. Very busy bar, dark. But I knew they stole it. They ran away, they left. I called the police, reported it. And there was a problem here. I told them, the police, I can see on my phone exactly where it is. It was in a house in South London. Surprise, surprise. Exact pinpoint. The police said, first, it took a while to get back to me. Hang on one second. Francis Banderstamp Spammer. Can you guys let me know the name of the username? If anybody spams, just let me know who's doing it. And then I'll get rid of them. I think it's this guy, isn't it? Nick says M Games. Is it that one? Let me just double check. Okay, we won't get distracted. I'll continue. Is it that one? Yeah. He's spamming. There we go. Gone. I told them, go and just knock on the door. They said we're not allowed to go there. We have to go through the security cameras, the CCTV in the bar first. That's the procedure. I was like, yeah, but I can see where it is. Just go knock on the door and just say, we're just here to pick up the AirPods. And we are the police. They said we're not allowed. And I said, okay, I'm going to go. They said, if you go, we'll arrest you. I mean, what? They were too busy sitting in the police stations, checking people's tweets and Facebook posts. They weren't allowed to go in and knock on a door. When you had local policing back in the day, you just pick up the phone with the police, or see the police officer in the neighborhood, say, oh, hi, Jack, can you help me with this? And they'll just follow you and help you. No, now they have to go through a procedure and bureaucracy. They weren't even allowed to go and knock on the door to approach the guy. They're like, no, we have to go in through. There was no way they were able to actually find the actual camera footage because it was dark, it was busy, it was impossible to see who it was. But now, of course, if I go and pick it up, I'll be arrested, right? Idiots. Super chat from Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. Discipline needs to be meted out, but the government hasn't got the balls to put them down in a short, sharp shock moment. Why? Are they being paid? No, most of them are just weak and feeble. The rest of them are just absolutely terrified of losing votes. It's just complete chaos. And the rest of the politicians are actual traitors who really believe that we are in the wrong and they are in the right. Toddy Tennant's one of our regulars. Effort. Bring back the British Empire. Stop the Islamification of Europe and the entire Western world. Well, I can officially appoint Toddy Tarrant as the Foreign Secretary under the 2C cabinet when we bring back the British Empire with my good friend William Gladstone. Would you like to get involved? I swear I don't talk to him at night. Like, people are going to think I'm just sitting here on my own talking to William. Hello, how are you? I'm not completely delusional yet. I'm not fully Joe Biden yet. Let's go to Ian, Super Chat. Thank you very much, Mr. Helm, for your support. And Lisa sent a super sticker. Thank you very much. And a Super Chat from Fish and Chips. Love it. The area I live has changed their culture in 2 years. The rapid change is also the biggest problem, by the way, because I can, for example, testify that over the last 20 years or so, on my late teens and all that, in the early 2000s, for example, we could see slowly the change in society. But now it's changing faster. Back then you could see every 10 years or so. Now it's every 2 years. The sewage farm is full of lefties and wet wipes. and liberals, organisations like the BBC, Sly News, Love Not Hate, Stonewall, all supporters of the WEF, EU and the WHO. We need to leave these organizations. The problem is not necessarily just the organizations. It's the ideas that their virus will follow us because we have a liberal democratic society. A liberal democratic society allows anybody to get involved. We did not ban communism for some reason. Communism destroyed millions and millions of lives, but we said, wow, we are a free society. Everybody should get involved. That doesn't help. Your ethics on Indian migrants in the UK competing for a bigger chunk of the British pie, power supporting Hindu. Whoa. What's going on here? Okay, there's some sort of story about some other stuff. I don't know what's going on. And the fish and chips, EU policy to squash Christian thinking, pure fact. But that's the thing. I mean, it's not really a public policy. They didn't announce any policy like that. But it's the behavior. It's the agenda because it's under the guise of liberal secularism. This is what we created generation after generation, the education system, the standards going down. and basic social conservative values, or if you want to call it Judeo-Christian values, going down, it started to produce more kids who have no respect for our values. That they are now, those kids are now grown-ups. Ursula von der Leyen is now the European Commission president, but she grew up under that system. See the problem? Anyway, from the river to the sea, the UK will be Islam free. Technically, it's from the Channel to the North Sea, by the way. But yeah, it's fine. I'll forgive you. What else what's going on here? Are there more spammers again? Spammers and trolls only post on the truthful channels. Oh, I thought you were going to report someone else. Yeah, feel free to report spammers. Anybody who posts anything more than once or twice. I'm bringing down the tolerant level. Before I used to say 3 times. Even more than once is now too much. People want to have a conversation in the live chat. Do not be an obstacle to free speech. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, because we're going to be focusing on other issues as well later on. And of course, tomorrow we have more news updates for you guys. Don't forget, by the way, in case you don't know for some reason, on the 13th of March, 2CTV will be in Manchester. Good luck to us. At 7 p.m, we'll be having our event to celebrate the channel getting to 400,000 subscribers. Feel free to join us. The link is in the description. And of course, we're already on 415,000. It's just unstoppable. We continue to grow. And of course, our new studios are going to be ready very soon, within the next few weeks, hopefully. And new shows, a new documentary called Britain's Multiculturalism Myth that will be published on 2CTV Plus and the new platform, as well as YouTube. We're not going anywhere. YouTube has been good, despite all the problems. And we'll come back to you guys later with more news updates. Thank you for all the love and support. And even to you trolls in the live chat, I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.